Welcome to Law Days and Lattes, the podcast where we blend the world of law and business with a warm cup of information and common sense. I'm your host, Sidney, attorney, real estate investor, and business owner. Each week, we'll be your go-to source for legal insights, business advice, and so much more. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an ambitious entrepreneur, or simply someone seeking guidance, we'll have you covered. From navigating the legal landscape to empowering you with valuable business strategies, we'll explore the legal side of life and enjoy a virtual latte along the way. So, grab your favorite latte, get comfortable, and let's dive in to Law Days and Lattes. Welcome back to Law Days and Lattes, where we talk about law, life, business, family, and building a legacy worth leaving. I'm your host, Sidney, founder of the Whelan Law Firm, serving North Central Missouri businesses and families in 3 convenient locations: Moberly, Carrollton, and Paris. Today, we're tackling a topic that may make some people uncomfortable, but one of the most important conversations I have with women in my law practice. Why does every woman, married, single, divorced, widowed, entrepreneur, professional, or stay-at-home mom, need her own financial identity? Now, before anyone misunderstands, this episode is not about encouraging independence from your spouse or creating division in a relationship. In fact, the strongest marriages and partnerships are often those where both people understand their finances, both people participate in decision-making and maintain the ability to manage life if circumstances change. This episode is about preparation, empowerment, and protecting yourself and the people you love. Because life doesn't always go according to plan. People become ill, disabled, people lose jobs, businesses fail, relationships end, spouses die unexpectedly, and when those things happen, financial confidence becomes one of the greatest gifts a woman can possess. I've had similar conversations many times, with my own mother even, who was widowed twice before the age of 60. When we talked about some of these issues in later conversations, she said something I've never forgotten. She said, "I thought your dad would always be here to take care of us." She had no reason to even think that he would not. He was always there for her and for us. He never had been sick a day in his life, until the cancer diagnosis. He went to work every day and made sure the bills were paid. We were not rich by any means, but we had everything we needed. I've had the same conversation with close friends. The loss of a spouse. You know, the one who was always organized, took care of the details of running the home, sometimes even the business, made sure everyone and everything was always taken care of. And every week, I have conversations with people who are facing a serious illness or are dealing with a family member who is. The person who has relied on their spouse for financial support now must figure out how to make ends meet while caring for a loved one, or how to pay the final expenses after someone has passed. The story I see too often. As an attorney, I have met countless intelligent, capable, successful women who know how to run a household, manage a career, raise children, and solve complex problems all at the same time. Yet, many of them have little involvement in their family's finances. They don't know where all the accounts are located or how much debt exists. They don't know what life insurance coverage is in place or whether there is an estate plan or what retirement assets exist or how their property is titled. Their spouse handled all those things until suddenly he couldn't. Perhaps there was a stroke. Perhaps there was another difficult diagnosis. Perhaps there was an unexpected death. And overnight, the woman who was already dealing with grief found herself trying to understand decades of financial decisions. That is a burden no family should leave behind. Financial identity is not about being a single woman. When I talk about financial identity, I'm not talking about having separate lives. I'm talking about having knowledge, having access, having understanding, and having confidence. A strong financial identity means you know what you own, you know what you owe, you understand how money flows through your household, and you can make informed decisions, and you have legal authority to make those decisions when necessary. Whether you're married for 50 years or you're living independently, those principles matter. Every woman needs credit in her own name. One of the most practical steps a woman can take is establishing and maintaining credit in her own name. I've seen situations where a husband handled all the borrowing. Every account was in his name. Every credit line was tied to him. And after his death or disability, his spouse struggled to obtain financing because she had little independent credit history of her own. Even in healthy marriages, maintaining some credit in your own individual name provides flexibility and security. It doesn't mean you're planning for failure. It means you're planning for reality. Understand what you own. Here's a question I often ask my clients. If something happened to your spouse tomorrow, would you know exactly what assets exist and where they are located? Many people can't answer that question. Every woman, and every man for that matter, should know about their bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement plans, insurance policies, business interest, real estate holdings, and debts and obligations. Create a master list and update it annually. Make sure someone you know knows how to find it. That single exercise can save tremendous stress later on. Women often outlive men. This is simply reality. Many women will spend at least part of their lives managing finances independently, whether through widowhood, divorce, or simply longevity. Financial responsibility often shifts to the woman. The hidden risks of cohabitation. This is a topic I discuss frequently with my clients because many people misunderstand the legal realities. A long-term relationship does not automatically create legal protections. If you're living with a partner but are not married, you may not have inheritance rights, decision-making authority, access to certain benefits. Many people discover this only after a tragedy occurs. Remember, love and legal protection are not the same thing. If you're in a long-term committed relationship, make sure your legal documents reflect your intentions. Women entrepreneurs face unique challenges as well. One thing I admire about women business owners is their willingness to build something from the ground up. Many entrepreneurs focus so much on growing the business that they neglect personal financial planning. I've seen women who built successful companies, created jobs, generated significant revenue, yet they failed to create an estate plan and protect business assets, or develop succession plans and save adequately for retirement. Your business is an asset. Treat it like one, protect it like one, and plan for it like one. Your financial identity includes estate planning. Many people think estate planning is only for wealthy families. That couldn't be further from the truth. Estate planning is really about maintaining control. Who will make decisions if you're unable to? Who will inherit your assets? Who will care for minor children? Who could access accounts during an emergency? Those decisions are too important to leave to chance. Every woman should consider a trust with a pour-over will, financial powers of attorney, healthcare powers of attorney, beneficiary designations, and asset ownership structures. Let's teach the next generation. One of the most powerful things a woman can do is model financial confidence for her children and grandchildren. Our daughters should grow up understanding budgeting, saving, investing, credit, contracts, ownership, estate planning. Our sons should expect that the women in their lives will be informed. They should participate in financial decisions. Financial literacy is not a male skill, it's a life skill. Building a financially fearless life. The goal is not wealth for wealth's sake. The goal is freedom. Freedom to make choices, freedom to weather unexpected challenges, freedom to help others, freedom to create opportunities for future generations. A strong financial identity allows women to live with greater confidence because they understand the resources available to them and the decisions that shape their future. A few practical steps you can take this week. If you're wondering where to start, here are 5 simple actions. 1. Know your numbers. Determine your assets, debts, monthly income, and monthly expenses. 2. Review beneficiary designations. Many estate plans fail because beneficiary designations are outdated. 3. Obtain and review your credit report. Yes, it may be scary, but understand your credit profile and address any issues. 4. Create a financial information binder. Gather up account information, insurance policies, legal documents, and contact information for your advisors. That includes attorneys, tax consultants, financial advisors. 5. Schedule an estate plan review. Make sure your legal documents reflect your current life and goals, not just documents hiding in a file cabinet somewhere. At the end of the day, having your own financial identity isn't about preparing for the worst. It's about preparing for life. It's about being informed rather than surprised. It's about having confidence instead of uncertainty. And it's about ensuring that if life does take an unexpected turn, you have the knowledge and the tools necessary to move forward. Because financial independence isn't simply about money. It's about options. It's about dignity. And it's about security. And ultimately, it's about creating a life and a legacy on your own terms. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Law Days and Lattes. Until next time, keep learning, keep planning, and keep building a life and a legacy worth living. If you've been putting off reviewing your estate plan, organizing your financial affairs, or creating a roadmap for your family's future, now is the time to start. Contact me at the Whelan Law Firm to schedule a planning consultation. The most powerful financial tool you can have isn't a particular investment. It's clarity about where you are, where you're going, and how to protect what matters most along the way. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's also building something meaningful, whether that's a business, a family, a farm, or simply a life filled with purpose and connection. Feel free to screenshot this episode and share it on social media. Tag me and tell me your biggest takeaway. Those shares help this podcast reach more people who are trying to build stronger businesses, protect their families, and create lives they truly love. Until next time, keep building, keep planning, and keep creating a life and a legacy worth leaving. Have a great week, my friends.
This podcast episode contains general information for discussion purposes only. Each case is different and must be judged on its own merits. Missouri rules generally prohibit lawyers from advertising that they specialize in particular areas of the law. This show should not be construed to suggest such specialization. Nothing on this show should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, and the listening or viewing of this podcast does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.